Hello everyone, how you doing? This is part two in on how the employee at the number one UMass Dining Blue Wall Cafe, and I'll tell you how I played a helpful role in it when the employee need help. First, I'd like to give a moment of silence to those that we lost on 9/11/2001. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. Yeah, as I was saying, you know, on September 3rd, 2001, which was a Friday, employee had to be taken to the hospital from number one UMass Dining Blue Wall Cafe. Like I said in the last video, the employee was breathing heavily, and like I said, the two managers came to check on her, helped her, and all that. And I asked, "Is she okay?" And after asking twice, I said, "I have to call it in because when somebody's breathing heavy like that, you don't know what's going on. It's a bad sign." Yeah. So from what I've heard, I've been told that the employee that had to be taken to the hospital, is okay and back to work. Is back working at Blue Wall Cafe. When I got the news, I'm glad to hear she's doing all right. Because it turns out she wasn't feeling well. But either way, I'm glad she's okay and she's back to work. Yeah, that's all. So I'm just glad I acted fast because like I said in the last video, they had some quick thinking, but not as quick as mine. Like I said, when someone's breathing heavy like that, you gotta act fast and call 911 because you don't know what it is. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. But either way, good call. Either way, good call. So I'm glad I got that off my chest. I'm glad she's doing all right. Let's also talk about what's going on with UMass dining in general and what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing on social media, and other stuff. Yeah, so you know, ending the second week of UMass Amherst in the 2021 fall semester. Excuse me for a minute. Gotta shake my mask. Sorry about that. Apologize for that. Yeah. So there's been talks about students being late for class, some students missing class because of they had to wait in line for food, and then all of a sudden there's they run out of food at all the dining halls, including Blue Wall Cafe. All this, yeah, and really, the thing is too, like all the UMass dining halls, including Blue Wall Cafe, they seem to be short-handed and all that. But like I said in the last video, if you want more help and everything, you gotta show and treat all the workers with proper respect. Treat them with the proper respect. Rather if they're supposedly called old ones or old threes. No matter what old position they are, old ones or old threes, treat them equally. Treat them with the proper respect. And then once you do, I'm sure you'll get more employees. More people are going to want to work for number one UMass Dining. But the thing is, too, because back in 2016, a lot of people, lost their jobs. A lot of them did. And I was one of them. because I used to work at Blue Wall Cafe. But like I said in the last video, they try to thank me and everything like that. But I didn't want their thanks because I know for a fact that I wasn't getting any gain from Blue Wall Manager or UMass or number one UMass Dining. So there's no need to accept their thanks. But I know I'm getting gain from a lot of other people outside of UMass. I have. I'm like, so far, I even got an appreciation gift from someone outside of UMass Dining. You know what it was? It's a FDNY hockey jersey, as in New York City Fire Department. FDNY as in New York City Fire Department hockey jersey. Because after my video was seen by this person, that person decided to send me that jersey because they think what I did. They said what I did was helpful, and they're glad I did what I did because you never know what could have happened if I didn't act fast enough. But I wouldn't say I'm a hero. Just an everyday person, I say. But like I said, UMass Dining, number one UMass Dining, they need to do better. When it comes to treating their employees and everything like that. And yeah, I know it's very frustrating for a lot of students and parents and visitors because all the fountain drinks, they've been literally out. And the only thing that's been available for the first 2 weeks was Coke and Diet Coke and some root beer. Yeah, because I saw on social media that a student, he filled his water bottle with Sprite, but then when he drank it, he had to dump it and spit it out because he said that it wasn't Sprite, it tasted flat. I'm like, wow, because if this is going on for 2 weeks, then they got to do something about that. Because, students and parents pay a lot of money for the meal plans. And if this continues to be shortage on food and fountain drinks, etc., then we have a big problem. Like I just said, students and parents pay a lot of money for meal plans, and, there's shortage on that. As far as I know, if there is a shortage on stuff like that, like I said, we have a big problem. We do. So my advice to UMass Dining in general is, make sure you have plenty. Make sure you have a lot. Even if you have to overstock, because look, it's better to over prepare than to under prepare. Because I used to work at Blue Wall Cafe. And when I used to work at Blue Wall Cafe, I made darn sure that there was enough, sodas, juices, sports drinks in a fountain. I made darn sure every day it is. And when I had time, I make sure there's enough in there. I make sure there's enough in the kegs and everything like that. I make sure there's enough. But see, the thing is, Blue Wall Management back then, they never took the time to see how dedicated I was on making sure all the UMass Amherst students and employees, as well as visitors and parents that visit the campus, are well fed if they're coming to eat on campus. I was dedicated to that. I was. But like I said, management back then, they didn't see it, as well as chef, they didn't take the time to see it. Because they always think I'm just wandering around or anything like that. Because apparently, Blue Wall Management, as well as the chefs, the chef that's still there today, they always assume I'm just wandering around just because I make sure everything's in place when it's not busy. They always assume stuff like that. But like I said, when that employee needed help, when she was breathing heavy like that, you know, I just showed them something that it was not clever of them to not take me back in 2016. I showed them that. I did. But see, my intent was to, help the employee that was breathing heavily like that, not to make anyone look stupid. I'll say it again. The purpose of the 911 call I made for the employee was to help the employee that was breathing heavily like that and needed help, not to make anyone look stupid. That was not my intent. I'll say it one more time. The intent of the 911 call for the UMass dining employee that needed help was to help her, not to make anyone look stupid. But unfortunately, it did because, the manager told the supervisor employee to go stand outside, lead the officer to where it is. I'm like, the employee went the wrong way. Okay, and I said, you know what, let me do it. And the supervisor, she was standing like in the middle of the hallway in the concourse area. And I said, you know what, let me do it. And I had to call UMass Police Department again. And let the dispatch know that I'm approaching the officer that's waiting. Not to mention that I also gave the dispatcher my description to tell the officer, so that way the officer know what's approaching him. And then, I saw the officer. I led him to it. And next thing you know, I saw the EMTs finally have arrived, as well as the environmental and health services staff. And then, I think a second campus police officer arrived too. So I'm glad I did what I did. Because like I said, I have a good heart. I do. See, it's just people don't take the time to see it. And it's a shame. It's a shame that people don't take the time to see that I have a good heart. And like I said, I'm glad the employee's okay and back to work. See, that's what I do. And see, like I said before in the last video, in part 1, see, when you work for the Boston Athletic Association as a marshal, especially detailing the finish line at the Boston Marathon back in 2019, before COVID-19 pandemic hit, I'm like, you got to be very vigilant. You got to be on the game there, which I was. Because I know, with all the training I had went through before working for the Boston Athletic Association, it kicked in. I remember the training. I had to do a refresher, after all the lockdowns and restrictions have been lifted. I had to do a little refresher. And I might have to do some more refreshing. But either way, my quick thinking came through. My quick thinking and training came through when the employee needed help. And I am darn proud of it. But one of my biggest concerns is, does UMass Dining even train their employees or make them do some training when it comes to situations like that? I just wonder. Because if you're working for a food service industry at a school or a college, you gotta go through some training like that. You gotta. Because I know most colleges, especially Ivy League schools like Harvard, Brown University, Dartmouth, Yale, Columbia University, I know their dining services, they make people go through all that training, even COVID-19 training, obviously. But still, if you're working in a food service industry at any college or school, you gotta have training like that. You gotta. But I don't know, UMass Amherst, as well as all the UMass campuses, it's state school. But, UMass, is a good system either way. But, I like to see, better training, better leadership, and I'm not bashing university because, people people are so, I should say, stupid enough to say I'm always going after UMass. Sorry I said that, but it's true. People are always dumb enough to think I always go after UMass, which is not true because, you know, I show my UMass pride. I always do. I'm like, am I wearing a UMass jersey right now? No, it's Boise State. The reason why I'm wearing a Boise State football jersey is because they're playing tonight. So it's a game day jersey for me. It is. And like I said, I'm proud of what I did. And am I a negative person? No, I'm not. I might say things on social media, but it doesn't make me a negative person. If people would understand what I went through and been through and all that, maybe they'll think differently and stop jumping to conclusions a lot. Sorry about that. And I know people will jump to conclusions about me fixing my mask while making a video. And some people will say things about me negatively because I'm wearing a mask, in my video. And there's no shame in wearing a mask while making a video because my intentions as well as wearing a mask is to protect myself as well as others around me. That's what it is. We need to stop criticizing people for wearing a mask outside, or inside. We need to stop giving people a hard time for wearing a mask. Really. Even if I'm like more than 20 feet away from others around me, I'm still wearing a mask because the purpose of this mask wearing is during this video making is to set a good example. That's what it is. And yes, look, you see this right here? I also work with Valley Bike. See, Valley Bike is a bike share where you can rent one, not to mention the electric assist. They have dock stations in Northampton, Massachusetts, Amherst, Massachusetts, East Hampton, Massachusetts, South Hadley, Massachusetts, Holyoke, Massachusetts, Chicopee, Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts, West Springfield, Massachusetts, and pretty soon, and hopefully, I should say, other communities throughout the valley. So like I said, I'm glad of what I did. I'm proud of what I did. Hopefully UMass Dining, will get better in the third week of the semester as far as, food and fountain drinks, as well as staffing, because from what I've heard, the girls section of Blue Wall Cafe was closed today because, according to what I heard, because staff didn't show up, they called in sick, or whatever it was. But let me tell you something, everyone. If you're sick, please stay home. Please don't go to work if you're sick. Really. Because if you're not feeling well and you're staying home, there's no shame in that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I want all employers, especially UMass Dining, to let people take the time off if they're sick. Alright? Make sure they're getting paid sick time. Make sure you're giving them paid sick time because that is Massachusetts state law. It is. It is. Whether it's public or private business, they all gotta follow Massachusetts state laws. They all have to. Alright? So like I said, if you're sick, please stay home or see a doctor. Alright? Let's all take care of ourselves and each other. And for those of you who support my videos, I appreciate it. And as for that Blue Wall supervisor, yeah, I heard that supervisor's been talking about me. And I sure hope it's positive and not negative. I sure hope it's, like I said, as far as that Blue Wall supervisor that's been talking about me, from what I've heard, I sure hope it's positive and not negative. Because really, I'm like, you're too old to be gossiping. You are. I'm not saying to be a jerk, but like I said, you're too old to be gossiping and anything like that if that's what you're doing. Too old for that. Well, than that, people, let's all take care of ourselves and each other. And let's all, respect others, especially if they're wearing patriotic gear to honor those that we lost on 9/11/2001. I'll say it again. Let's all not look at people the wrong way for wearing patriotic gear just to honor those that we lost on 9/11/2001. All right? Until then, be safe, be well, wash your hands, take care of yourselves and each other. And I apologize for fixing my mask during this video, but like I said, it's about setting a good example. So let's not judge on that because, just because I'm doing my part, all right? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I'm like, I would smile, but I got to keep the mask on, but I can do this. Thank you, everyone.